For the Wall Street Exclusive, I'm Joe Springer, helping you make informed decisions so you can succeed in the market. Let's do the thunder angle. The thunder angle. Now, Jim Cramer does the lightning round. That's capricious and arbitrary. Here we do the thunder angle. It's mature and important. Genoa asks about Zogenix. Zogenix, ZGNX. It's a biotech. It's a pharmaceutical company kind of like Tonix. They're going after central nervous system disorders, pain. What they're doing is they're combating opioid abuse, and their drug may help with opioid abuse. Zogenix is further along than Tonix is. They're actually on the market. They're also valued at 2.5 times Tonix value. I don't mind Zogenix at all. You have my blessing if you like it. It does not have the very high upside of Tonix, and it's valued more than Tonix, but it's farther along. If you like it, that doesn't look like a bad one to me. I give you my blessing. Okay, Alex asks about BlackBerry. BlackBerry, you've heard of BlackBerry. There's a device company. They lose money. They're a $6 billion market cap. So they have $6 billion to lose. It's a tough business, devices, even if they do temporarily hit pay dirt. If you want to be in the device business, I prefer Apple, or I'll send you to Telconet if you want to be in the hardware type stuff that has a moat. So I don't think BlackBerry is a very good buy. Buy Telconet, there's a great buy. Mary asks about Microsoft. Well, Microsoft's got that international exposure like a lot of these big companies do. They need growth to make up for their shrink. Their operating systems business is shrinking, all that stuff. I prefer Facebook if you want a large tech software services type of company. They got the growth. But you might like Microsoft, Mary, because of the dividend. So I'm going to send you the Compass Minerals, CMP. Compass Minerals, you know what they're going to be doing in 20 years. If somebody tells you they know what Microsoft's going to be doing in 20 years, you have my permission to slap them and tell them that Joe sent you. Compass Minerals is still going to be selling salt in 20 years, and that dividend looks safe. So if you like Microsoft for the dividend, who knows what they're going to be doing in the future. I like Compass Minerals a lot better. David asks about Bank of America again. Look at Endurance Holdings, ENH. It's up almost 10% since we added it to the multi-bag newsletter. Property and casualty insurance company. What I love about it is that it's some of the biggest insider buying you'll ever see. And so there's a better financial than Bank of America, much smaller. Property and casualty insurance is the best most profitable kind of insurance, and the CEO is buying a lot of stocks. So it looks like a good one to me. James asks about Lumber Liquidators. They are awful stewards of capital. Running the operation, there's running the operation, and there's what you do with your profits, as we saw. They did huge buybacks at very high levels, and they did it while insiders were selling out, meaning they thought the buyback was kind of a questionable idea. And there's even some companies, who knows, they might even do a buyback so the insiders can sell out at higher prices. So that stinks to high heck. Forget the 60 Minutes investigation that Lumber Liquidators is poisoning their customers. So maybe they're bad at operations, but they are bad at allocating capital, so stay away. I prefer BCC, Boise Cascade, if you're looking for something similarly sized. Lowe's, the big store. Excellent stewards of capital if you want to kind of be in wood with great capital allocation. Ansha asks about NUGT and DUST, Nugget and Dust. That's the 3 times daily gold miners or the 3 times daily inverse gold miners. Look at the long-term chart of both and steer clear. Gold has a place, and it's next to your guns, rice, and iodine for you preppers out there. Those 3 times inverse and 3 times gold, don't play with them because you got to get them right in the short term, and if you're going to short them, you got to get them right in the short term. Raj asks about NXP Semiconductor, NXPI. They just did a big merger with Freescale, FSL. The thing about big mergers, if you just watched our segment on management, big mergers are notoriously hard to integrate. 2 out of 3 don't work, depending on who you ask, where you get your numbers. Stocks that both of those stocks should be up on this news. They're probably up a lot right now on that news, but I would steer clear. Acquisitions generally, big mergers generally are problematic and don't work very well. Don asks about Clean Energy Fuels, CLNE. They're up a lot. They just reported a good quarter. They've got T. Boone Pickens, and he's actually, whatever you maybe, oh, he just got lucky and he's rich. No, he's really smart, and the fact that he's there is actually a great thing. Clean Energy Fuels is not my cup of tea, but as a spec, you have my blessing. Looks okay to me. Kathleen asks about Micron, MU. Micron is getting cheap, but that's a watch out. Cheap is not good enough. Micron's getting cheap, but the insiders are doing more selling than buying. And I've learned the hard way that looking cheap is not a good reason to buy a stock. I'm thinking about Lantronix here. Instead of Micron, I'd rather you be an Apple or Telconet. I just can't get behind Micron. I don't hate Micron, can't get behind it. Douglas asks about Qualcomm. Here's another chip maker. They're a $120 billion chip maker. If things go wrong, they could fall a long, long way. So there's not enough upside there for this guy. And like Apple, they will never get credit for what they might do in the future. They're a device maker or a semiconductor, they make the chips. So they're going to be a quarter-to-quarter story, and if you want a quarter-to-quarter story, go with Apple. But instead of going with Apple, check out Intricon, IIN, or Sierra Monitor, SRMC. Those both have multi-bag upside in replace of Micron or Qualcomm. Check out Intricon and Sierra Monitor. Okay, because there's two stocks that Warren Buffett could never buy because they're much too small. Okay, Chandra asks about EYES, Second Sight Medical Products, from the great Dr. Alfred Mann, huge philanthropist, billionaire, one of the most successful people. If you've never heard of him, it's like amazing he's not more famous. To me, it's amazing he's not more famous. We first wrote about Second Sight a couple of years ago when we wrote about Mankind. It's had a huge move, but if you like it and you have a long time horizon, I'll definitely give you my blessing because it's Dr. Mann. He's had so many massive successes, huge massive successes, very important things he's done. And the technology in the Second Sight is nothing less than miraculous. Blind people can see with bionic eyes, and it's real. Okay, Matt asks about SanDisk. SanDisk is, again, another perpetual quarter-to-quarter story with a lot of eyes on it. If you want something like that, go with Apple, in my opinion. But again, Telconet, Intricon, Sierra Monitor, there's three companies with a lot of upside that Warren Buffett could never buy, and that I would definitely recommend more than any of those semiconductor makers. Here's another semiconductor, Intel. Lucas asks about Intel. I actually kind of like Intel if it comes to Micron or Qualcomm or SanDisk. I actually like Intel. They're just a very well-managed company. The dividend is safe. Again, Telconet, Intricon, Sierra Monitor if you want upside. But as far as large stocks go, and if you're asking about the dividend, Intel is a well-managed company, it's a good company, and so they're sort of an industry titan. And even though that Warren Buffett can buy them, I still kind of like them anyway. Ronnie asks about Garmin, GRMN. They've got a great balance sheet and a healthy dividend. They're already discovered, so I don't mind them so much. But again, Intricon is a little device maker, a little handheld body device maker, getting the medical fields, things like that. Sort of like what Garmin is doing, getting the athletic stuff. So Intricon is sort of like an undiscovered company like that. Ernie asks about UNG, natural gas. If you watched my 5 things to look for in the economy going forward, cheap energy is one of them. I'm not going to be able to guess what natural gas is going to do on a day-to-day basis. And so UNG, it could have a short-term move higher. Generally speaking, I like energy to stay low. But I would steer clear of trying to guess the short-term moves in energy. If you want an energy efficiency name, Telconet. Zachary asks an interesting one, Splunk, S-P-L-K. It's interesting, and I'm not really a bear on the name, but they don't make money, and the CEO is selling millions of dollars worth, and so you know what that means. We have to steer clear. Elliot asks about Alcoa, the aluminum maker Alcoa. If you want to be in this space, I much prefer Carpenter Technologies, CRS. CarTech has less commodity exposure. It's being more specialized in mission-critical components. CarTech is going through a rough patch. It has sold off quite a bit, and I think this is a great time to buy a piece of a great American business. Plus, CarTech is from my hometown of Reading, Pennsylvania. Okay. All right, so that was the thunder angle. Jim Cramer does the lightning round. That's capricious and arbitrary, but we have the thunder angle. All right, I hope you found that helpful. I'm Joe Springer, helping you make informed decisions so you can succeed in the market.